Hello everybody, happy Friday. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to Cask and Point. Today we are doing the ultimate showdown. On the left side here, we have George T Stagg, 15-year-old Buffalo Trace cask strength whiskey, one of the most highly sought after bottles on the entire market. We have Russell's 15 from Wild Turkey. This released last year. It was the renowned whiskey of the year for most folks. An absolutely delicious pour of whiskey, 15 years old, 117 proof. And then we have Wild Turkey Generations, a one-off cask strength release, the highest proof release ever from Wild Turkey, and it's most expensive at $450 manufacturer suggested retail price. So these are the OGs. These are the ones that people know. This is the traditional, the Wild Turkey, the Buffalo Trace. But on the right side here, we have the newcomers. We have the BuffTurkeys. BuffTurkeys, I've done a few reviews on them already. I've done a review on the 113 proof Elkwood. I've done a review on a bunch of different news, and I've done a review where I just tried all of my favorite Buff Turkey all at once. So 3 reviews already. Definitely go check those out down below in the comments if you haven't already. But I've taken my favorites from those videos and from later on, and I've combined them here today into an epic 4v4 battle. So let's talk about what we have. Obviously, we have George T Stagg, we have Generations, and we have Russell's 15. We also have a George T Stagg from 2022, so this is the 2024 release, so I've done 2 different George T Staggs, so that comprises 4 bottles from our traditional camp, 2 Buffalo Trace, 2 Wild Turkey. We have 15-year Buffalo Trace twice, we have the Wild Turkey 15 years old, and then Generations has a blend of some 15-year-old Wild Turkey juice in it, but it's also the highest proof, so I thought it would be really cool to throw into this flight. And then on the Buff Turkey front, we have 4 different Buff Turkeys. For one, we have the Elkwood 146 proof. This is the highest proof Elkwood and the highest proof Buff Turkey ever released. So previously I did a review on the Heart. That was the highest proof at 145.2, but the Elkwood released a few weeks later, beat it at 146, and its yield was only 17 bottles, and so it was also the shortest yield of any Buff Turkey ever. So that is contender number 1 on the Buff Turkey camp, the highest proof and the shortest yield of any of the Buff Turkeys. In second, we have a really fun one. We have a Cigar Blend. So a guy named Dan Pope, he went and took 10 of his favorite barrels of Buff Turkey, and apparently this guy has already picked somewhere between 5 and 7 Buff Turkey barrels already for himself and for his group. He went and took a bunch of different ones that he really loved, finished them in Tocage, in Armagnac, really complex blend here, so I thought that would be a real fun one to throw in here. That one yielded around 400 bottles in the blend, and supposedly really amazing. He rated it a 9.7, and if you know, here at Cask and Point, we don't really give ratings all that high very often, so very curious to see how that does. We then have my favorite of the entire news lineup. Now, I do really like We Lucky Few. I decided to throw in BRL 1.0, which was, BRL celebrates a Wild Turkey release. I'll show the photo here on your screen. I decided that since it was a little bit lower proof, I thought it would be a little bit more interesting. The Cigar Blend is going to be in the 120s, this BRL is going to be in the low 120s. I thought that that would compare really well against the Wild Turkey portfolio, since those are going to be obviously about 120.8 for the Generations and about 117 for Russell's 15. We Lucky Few is my highest of the higher proof ones. It's 133 proof. It's absolutely amazing, but I decided to do BRL 1.0 just to kind of mix it up a little bit here. I haven't reviewed this one here yet, but it is either my favorite or my second favorite with We Lucky Few. And then in fourth here, we have the Buckner's 15. This was a new era pick. The We Lucky Few was also a new era pick, so I guess I already did one new era pick. But that is, again, yeah, a new era Bourbon Club pick there. Absolutely amazing. The King of Buckner's 15, 141.2 proof. It won my flight last time. It is the #1 Buff Turkey in my eyes that I have tried. But today we're going to try some other new ones, some exciting ones. We're going to see just how well the OGs can compete. But that's the flight. So we have 4 of the OG camp here, the traditional camp, 4 of the new camp, the great, the Buff Turkeys. We're going to find out if Buff Turkey really is all that. I've been saying that I don't think all that many Buff Turkeys are really competing with these bottles, but I want to see if one of them can win today, if one can dethrone the great George T Stagg, Russell's 15, Generations. So let's get right into it here, and let's see just how they do. Alrighty, so glass number 1 here. Interesting. Getting a lot of rich oak on this, a lot of spice. Now, I could take my guesses here. I don't think it's going to be all that useful, so I'm not going to bother taking any guesses. But I will say that this one is definitely leaning more towards the Buffalo Trace portfolio. A lot of rich cherry on this one, a lot of oak, a lot of spice, that nutmeg, that cinnamon. It smells really nice, really rich and oaky. Definitely getting a lot of ethanol on the nose too, so I'm thinking this is one of the higher proofs. It's really nice. Let's take a sip. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. The mid palate, tons of cherry on this one. Finish wasn't as long as I was expecting though. I was expecting to get a lot more punch off of this one because on the nose here, definitely smelling like it should be above 130 proof. But on that palate, I could definitely be convinced that this is actually in the 120s. Really drinking under proof for this. Still very, very delicious though. Wow. I can already tell this is going to be a tough flight. Some really amazing whiskeys here. I'm hoping that the lowest rating we end up giving is around an 8.5. And I'm hoping we may even see a 9.0 today. So we'll see. This is solid. This, to me, is more traditional. I think it's a more traditional Buffalo Trace profile. Now, obviously, the BuffTurkeys, I think BuffTurkeys generally lean much more towards Buffalo Trace than they do Wild Turkey. So I'm expecting a lot more of these than just the two George T Staggs to have that kind of nose and palate that are much more akin to Buffalo Trace notes. The really big cherry, that oakiness that's a bit vanilla, sweet kind of oakiness on it. This is really nice though. Let's take another sip. Oh yeah, that's really nice. It's interesting. It's giving me much more of a Buffalo Trace portfolio. Then it's actually dying a little bit quicker than I would expect. I feel like there's a real flash of flavor in the front palate here. And then in the mid and late palate, it's definitely still having a lot of flavor. Like, I still have cherry in my mouth and oak in my mouth and vanilla and stuff like that. So I would definitely say that this is definitely more of a longer finish. But it's just a flavor bomb in the beginning, and you don't get that flavor bomb throughout. So it's kind of odd where it feels like the flavor is dying off, but then it's been about 20 seconds now and I still can taste the cherry and the oak and the vanilla and those really nice good flavors. So by definition, it's going to be a long finish, but yeah, that one's interesting. That one's definitely easily 8.5, 8.6, 8.7. I really like that whiskey. Let's go on to glass number 2. Interesting. This one to me is actually much more of a Wild Turkey portfolio. Yeah, this one to me has that kind of tobacco oak on it. I am getting some really nice berries off of this as well. Oh, this is really nice. It's also pretty hot. Not as hot on the nose as the first glass. This one here is really nice. Really rich berry on this one. Like, I'm getting blueberry, blackberry, raspberry on this. Oh, this is really nice. Let's take a sip. Interesting. Very interesting. Darker fruit, tobacco, oak, caramel, vanilla. That's delicious. Much more akin to Wild Turkey, I think, than Buffalo Trace. I think the first one was leaning much more towards Buffalo Trace. The second one, much more Wild Turkey. It's funny, if I had to predict, I would have thought we had George T Stagg on the first and Russell's 15 on the second. But I think if I make those guesses, a lot of these are going to end up being Russell's 15 or George T Stagg. So I won't take too many guesses. Definitely much more towards that Wild Turkey profile, though. And like I said, I mean, most Buff Turkey is going to be Buffalo Trace akin, but I do think some, like the We Lucky Few, are actually a lot more towards Wild Turkey. So if you were a big Buffalo Trace fan, I think you should be a big Buff Turkey fan, even though they're technically owned by Wild Turkey. If you're a huge Wild Turkey fan, you actually might not be as big of a Buff Turkey fan, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, this one is super rich. Oh man, that oak is just amazing on this. There's tobacco on that oak, there's really nice vanilla, there's really sweet caramel on it. Pretty classic Kentucky, but I'm really getting that like Wild Turkey oak funk that I really enjoy off of this. Be funny if this is the George T Stagg. Pretty much anything here I can say could be Wild Turkey or Buffalo Trace, but if it's Russell's 15 or Generations, or if it's the George T Staggs, it's just a little bit tough. So I don't think this is George T Stagg, at least on this first go around. Maybe things will change as we keep drinking it. Yeah, to me this is much more Wild Turkey goodness here. Let's take another sip. Solid, solid. I don't like it as much as glass number 1. I think there's a strong tobacco, kind of leather oak on this, like a leather spice almost. That's really, really nice. I think the finish is clearly about medium long length. I think it's drinking somewhere around 120 proof. It is definitely drinking a little bit lower than that first glass. Maybe that first glass is closer to like 125, 130 proof. Definitely not near hazmat or anything though. And obviously we do have some hazmats here. So this is interesting. I think this is very, very good. It's also going to be around an 8.5 for me. Slightly lower than, I think, glass number 1. But let's go on to glass number 3. I'm almost jealous of you guys because you guys get to know what I'm drinking while I'm drinking. I have no idea. This reveal is going to be so interesting. I'm so curious to see if any of the Buff Turkeys can beat some of my favorites. I'm expecting some of them will. I can't imagine the top 4 will all be these guys. If they are, I might have to really swear off Buff Turkey, but I expect some of the Buff Turkeys are going to do okay. This one is a bit more complex, actually. So on the nose here, there's definitely a rich oak. There's a really sweet note as well in here. It's like a jam, like a marmalade, like a lemon marmalade kind of thing going on. A little bit of like pecan wood as well. Definitely some berries on there. It's primarily blueberry. It's like blueberry, lemon, like a muffin kind of thing. Wow, this is really interesting. Let's take a sip. Oh, wow. Oh, that's super rich on the palate. Tons of oakiness. That finish, still going. Still a lot of flavor on it. Wow. Oak is definitely the primary note on here. Really, really a ton of oak on this. But you'll kind of have this blueberry going on. You have this kind of lemon going on that's really nice. It's like a strawberry on this one as well. Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, that's totally off profile from Buffalo Trace or Wild Turkey.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Oh man, I mean, I have to assume this is one of those Buff Turkeys, but this is interesting. This is really, really nice. I'm definitely liking it. It's clearly, at least in the caliber of these first two, super complex. I mean, just so many things working at once here. Let's take a second sip. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the oak on there is definitely the most prominent note. If you don't like oak, you're not going to like that. Really, really oaky. And I will say the oak is slightly tannic. It's not that tannic. It's not like problematically tannic. I'm not a big fan of tannic oak on my whiskey. And this is definitely not that tannic. It's not tannic to the point where it's a problem. But there is a little bit of oak tannin on there. But I think beyond that, you have this interesting like strawberry, a blueberry, a lemon. I think the nose is really interesting. I think on the palate, that oak is really, really dominating through that front and mid palate there. It definitely eases up towards the end, and then you get a little more of those like really interesting fruity flavors. Obviously, I don't get that many whiskeys where there's lemon and blueberry and kind of a strawberry note on there. That's really nice, though. I like that a lot. It's gonna be interesting to see how I end up ranking that one against the first two, but that one's a lot of fun. I think it's definitely at least an 8.6, 8.7. I like that one a lot. Let's go on to glass number 4. So most of these have between a ½ ounce and 3/4 of an ounce here, so we do have a good bit to work with. Oh, this one to me, ooh, this one is fun. This one I'm having a bit harder of a time saying if this is much more like Buffalo Trace or Wild Turkey. It's really a mix of the two. I'm leaning towards this being one of the Buff Turkeys. Really nice, really rich. I mean, there's a lot of ethanol heat on a lot of these whiskeys, I will say. We're not dealing with lower proofs here, and I don't know, I'm just getting a lot of heat off of these. And Buff Turkey, obviously, there is some ethanol on a lot of them. I mean, you look at higher proof 15-year whiskeys that aren't particularly refined or really well blended together to get rid of a lot of the issues. And so that's how you get just absolutely amazing Buff Turkeys, and that's how you get a lot of Buff Turkeys that aren't particularly good. I will warn you all, if you are looking at this review as someone that hasn't owned any Buff Turkey and should I start buying any random Buff Turkey you see, this is not the review for you. Go check out some of my other Buff Turkey reviews. These are the best Buff Turkeys that exist. And so really, these are the ones that are worth, I mean, $1,000, $1,500. I think the Elkwood 146 sold for around $1,500, but some people think it should really be over $2,000. So we have some expensive bottle series. The Buckner's 15 sold for $1,500 several times now. So these are bottles that are worth double the ones that we have on this side, or even triple the Russell's 15. So really, really interesting here. But I will say, I don't think any of them are clearly beating them to be worth that much more in the secondary market. But I digress. This is really nice. It's very hot. There's a lot of rich oakiness to this. I'm thinking I'm getting a bit of citrus and a ton of vanilla on this. Primarily a vanilla. Really nice sweet oak on this. Definitely smelling pretty hot. Let's take a sip. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, really hot. Definitely getting a lot of flavor, but actually, on the mid and late palate there, really rich fruit. Oh, wow. That's interesting. So, on the front palate here, I have vanilla, I have oak, I have a little bit of citrus. Then in the mid palate, this just concoction, this cornucopia of these really dark fruits really come out really impressively. So you have like a blueberry on this, you have a blackberry, you have these really rich, like cooked blackberry almost, plum. Wow, that is so, so interesting. I like that one a lot. Oh my God, this is gonna be interesting. Oh wow, yeah, I mean this one to me is already getting close to a 9 on my rating scale. Man, I will say the nose isn't particularly refined. I think the nose is holding it back slightly. But I've always been one that I care about how my whiskey tastes a lot more than how my whiskey smells. So, oh wow. Wow, that's really good. Let's take another sip. Whew. It's hot. It's hot. In the beginning, you get a real punch to the face. Really rich oak. Clearly drinking 15, 16, 17 years old. I mean, the youngest whiskey that we have here is technically Generations because it's a blend of 9, 10, 12, 15-year whiskey. So the average age on that is probably around 12 years. Everything else on this flight is at least 15 years old. All the BuffTurkeys are at least 15. Most are 16. Obviously, George T Stagg is a 15-year blend, probably has some older whiskey in it. Russell's 15, also a 15-year blend, probably has some older whiskey in it. So yeah, this is interesting. Clearly a lot of oak richness on the front palate there. Then in the mid palate, opening up into that just absolutely incredible, dark, fruity, stewed flavors on it. I really like that. And then you also start getting a little bit of this like Earl Grey tea kind of note towards the late palate. You start getting this really, really nice. It's not really herbal, but it's that kind of element to it that's really nice. Almost like a chai tea note on it, really. It's really, really good on that fourth glass. Wow, this is going to be tough to rate. Let's go on to glass number 5. Okay, smells like a mix of Wild Turkey and Buffalo Trace. How interesting. I'm leaning actually a little bit more towards this being Wild Turkey. So that means that there's kind of like a leather spice on this, a tobacco on this. There's definitely a nice oak richness on this, vanilla. Obviously, we have some similar notes going on here. Obviously, we have really 2 distilleries. That we have 4 bottles that are a weird mix of these 2 distilleries, and then we just have those other 2 distilleries as the other 4. So we're obviously dealing with 2 flavor profiles, and even those 2 flavor profiles aren't the most different thing in the world. And so, yeah, obviously some pretty similar notes on this than the others. Let's take a sip. Yeah, this one to me, a little bit flatter than that glass number 4. Similar flavor profile though. Like I get the oak on it, but not nearly as much oak on that front palate. So if you really don't want that kind of super rich, hot, like blasting oak in your face, I think glass 5 may actually be better for you on that front palate. But then in the mid palate, I do get some of the fruit, not nearly as interesting of a fruit medley that I got on glass number 4 here. Really liked glass number 4. Just really, really rich on that one. But I think glass number 5 here, going to be much more like a citrus candy with some fruit on it, some red fruit, stuff like that. Definitely a bit more mellow, definitely drinking lower proof. Still really, really nice though. I mean, I'm thinking this is definitely either one of the lower proof BuffTurkeys or this is going to be like the Generations. Really nice. Let's take another sip. That one's interesting. There's a little bit of tannic oak on that one that I'm not absolutely loving. But like the fruitiness on it is really nice. There's really a lot of orange on it. It's definitely more orange forward than I think we've had on any of these glasses. But you also have that red fruit in there. You also have some spice in there. I will say it's a great pour of whiskey. But in this flight, I think it's going to end up placing at least in the bottom half. I mean, man, tough competition here on this flight. Let's go on to glass number 6. Oh, that smells good. They all smell good in the Buff Turkey, Wild Turkey, Buffalo Trace world. Okay, there is some heat on this one. Definitely thinking this is one of the higher proofs. Really rich oakiness on this. Definitely a lot of cherry. Man, there's just so much ethanol heat coming off of a lot of these. I mean, this is interesting. I guess we are drinking some basically hazmat whiskeys or even above hazmat whiskeys for a lot of these. So I guess it makes sense. Let's take a sip. Interesting. This one to me, more akin to Buffalo Trace. Really rich, really oaky. Definitely a good amount of cherry on that one. A little bit of cinnamon towards the late palate, but honestly, this is just like a flash of hot oak and cherry. It's really good. But not as interesting and complex on that first sip than I think of several of these others. But it's definitely much more flavorful. Like, that flavor really doesn't die on it. I think towards the late palate, you get a little bit of pepper on it as well. Oh, man. I could think this could be a George T Stagg, but I have no idea. I think this is, like I said, I'm not going to take guesses because this is just not even going to be worth it. I mean, I just don't know what things can be. But this is very, very good. Let's take a second sip. Interesting. I say interesting a lot. Rich oak, cherry. I started getting some darker fruit on that one. Yeah, that one's good. I think on the first sip, it wasn't as good. It was a bit hot on the oak, but I think it mellowed out slightly on the second sip. Palate got a little bit more warm to it. Very delicious. Very rich. I'm really getting like a strong plum on that one, like a black cherry on that one. It didn't have that fruit complexity that I got on glass number 4, but it did have more of like the fewer fruits that it did have. So it had fewer fruits, but each one of those fruits I think came through a little bit more. Really rich oak on this one. I mean, clearly 8.6, 8.7, maybe even a little bit higher. Very, very good pour of whiskey. Let's go on to glass number 7. Okay, this one's a little bit more mellow. This one is a bit more vanilla, a bit more oak, a bit more citrus. Definitely leaning against this being primarily Buffalo Trace. I think this is more of a Wild Turkey profile. But I am not getting a ton of that tobacco. Like, I'm not getting a ton of the Wild Turkey oak. I'm also not getting a ton of the Buffalo Trace oak. This one, probably a Buff Turkey if I had to guess. It's interesting. Let's take a sip. Yeah, much more mellow on this one. Pretty reminiscent of glass number 5, actually. I mean, this one, not my favorite. But I think that's just because this flight is awesome. Now, it's interesting because I really like Generations, and I've actually rated Generations above Russell's 15 when I first did a review on them, but it's going to be interesting today just to see if I end up doing that again, or if Russell's 15 really is the king. They're both very, very good, though, and at this point, they actually have very similar secondary values. I think the Generations doesn't really go for much more than its MSRP, so maybe about $500. MSRP was $450, and then Russell's 15 is about $550, so really, you can buy whichever one you want, and I see them both sitting on shelves pretty often around that secondary price. I actually see Russell's 15 all the time in Manhattan for about $499.99, which after tax would be about $540. So really right there. And like, I mean, I could probably pick up 12 Russell's 15s at that price in Manhattan in a couple of hours. Like, really, I've seen so many of them at that price sitting. So interesting. I think eventually they will be bought if Russell's 15 secondary ends up going to $600 or $650, but I think right now people just aren't bothering with that because it's not below secondary, it's just full secondary. Anyways, though, this one, a lot of citrus. A lot of citrus on this one. Very reminiscent of glass number 5. Let's take another sip. Okay, it's good. It's more mellow. Very orange on that mid-late palate on that one. I don't like orange as much as I like cherry, as much as I like those really dark stewed fruits. Those stewed fruits are really my favorite thing out of whiskeys. I mean, I love those stewed fruits. Kind of what we got at glass number 4 here. That one to me, much more reminiscent of glass number 5. I think there's citrus. I think there's some vanilla, some oakiness on it. It's still a very good pour of whiskey. I think the bottom so far of anything that are, any of these are probably an 8.3, 8.4, maybe even an 8.5. So we're dealing with some great whiskeys here. Let's go on to glass number 8. Okay, this one to me, not giving me the heat of one of the George T Staggs. I'm thinking this is either the Wild Turkey or the Buff Turkey. This one has a good, deep, rich oak on it. Not a ton of else going on, though. Definitely some citrus, vanilla, some dark fruits on it. Not as much citrus as glass number 7 or 5. Definitely some citrus on it, though. Definitely smelling a bit hotter. Let's take a sip. Interesting. So this one, definitely drinking lower proof, but I think it's similar in flavor profile to 5 and 7 here, but it's actually a lot more complex. I'm getting a nice richness to it, where I feel like the oak structure on it and the vanilla and the citrus, it's actually coming together much better. Like I'm almost getting like a creamsicle flavor on this one that's really, really prominent. In a way that, honestly, I think on 5 and 7, it didn't work as well, at least on this first go around. I mean, we will go back and try these all again in a second here, so we'll see how much our mind changes on things. But, this one to me had that kind of creamsicle note on it, kind of like a spicy candy note on it that I also really enjoyed. Actually, very akin to, if any of you have had the rare character KOA Baytown. That single barrel really had a spice candy note on it. Similar to the spice candy note on this. Yeah, very, very reminiscent of that. Let's take a second sip. Wow. I like that a lot. I like that more than 5 and 7, I think. I think it's that similar flavor profile of the vanilla and the citrus, but it's just blending together a little bit better. I really like that. I mean, that's at least an 8.5, 8.6. Okay, we've tried them all once. Now for the fun part. Let's do some ratings, let's do some rankings, and then at the end of the video, I'll find out exactly what we're having. All right, so first things first, let's have a little bit of water. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. Clearly, the Buff Turkeys, I think, I mean, unless 5, 7, and 8 are all Buff Turkeys, I think the Buff Turkeys are clearly holding their own here. I think one of 5, 7, and 8 is probably Generations. I think maybe the other two are Buff Turkey, but it's really hard to tell here. It's getting a lot of George T Stagg vibe off of like 1, maybe 6 as well. I think 2 could have been Russell's 15. I think maybe 3 was the finish. So, I don't know, those are kind of my initial guesses going into this, but I don't know. I said I wouldn't take any guesses. I love taking guesses. It's a lot of fun to guess these kinds of things and try to figure out what I'm having. But I will say, this is a good flight. Like, we are looking at least 8.4s on this. I think the average on this flight is going to be around an 8.5, 8.6, but I think we might get a couple that are a little bit higher than that. So, very, very solid whiskey here. I mean, just clearly Buff Turkey holding its own, I think, against a lot of the traditional whiskeys. But I will say, these Buff Turkeys at an MSRP of $300, worth it, definitely very worth it. But when the secondary on these bottles, I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is because secondary on Buff Turkey has just absolutely surged in the last few weeks. The Heart, the legendary news bottle, went 1 for 1 for a Michter's 20, which is worth about $3,500 for 2019, which is what it traded for. So really, really good there. I mean, even almost $4,000 for that Michter's 20, so absolutely insane. But even the Omnia, this bottle here, the Liquid Ministry pick, that bottle is going for about $2,300 to $2,500. So really, really high on the secondary market. And I'll be honest, I think if you love Buff Turkey, these are the best Buff Turkeys. Like, they are really top-end Buff Turkey, upper echelon, really the best of the best. And I think over the next few years, we'll see how Buff Turkey develops, but that stuff is good, but it's not that much better than this stuff. It's not really that much better at all. It might not even be better. So, I don't know. I think be smart with Buff Turkey. Probably don't spend $3,000 on Buff Turkey, but still very, very good. Let's get back into this flight. Okay, so I thought 5, 7, thought 8. Those were kind of on the lower end for me. 4 was really high with that really rich fruit on it. I like 3 a lot. It was the funkiest of the 8 that I've had. So let's go back here to glass number 5. So glass number 5 here. Oh, interesting. It's almost opened up to like a gingerbread note on it. Oh, I was not getting this on the first go around. Clearly the rich oak is still there. Clearly that cherry, that vanilla, that oakiness on it. That's all there. A little bit of tobacco is there too. Like, it's clearly that's still going on. But there's almost this gingerbread note on it. Similar to like Angel's Envy, the rum finish, the rye, that really, really gingerbread kind of note. Oh, that's so interesting. That's really, really nice. Let's take a sip. Oh, wow. Okay. On the palate, that gingerbread note didn't come through as strong. On the nose, though, is just so interesting. Still there. Still there. It's like a sweet oak kind of note, but it's like a gingerbread cookie kind of thing. It's really nice. On the palate, though, citrus, some oak on it. It's really good. It's definitely more mellow pour. I think if you're looking for more relaxing pour that you could have as kind of your first pour of the day or even a last pour of the day kind of thing, I think that's actually much more up for that kind of alley than I think a lot of these other pours. But I will say in this flight, it's going to rate in the lower end. I'm going to rate this 8.4. I still think it's awesome. I still think for $300 a bottle is well worth it. I think if it's any one of these, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's generations. I don't think this is Russell 15 or George T Stagg at all, but it's very, very good. Let's go on to glass number 7. So I think we'll do 5, 7, 8. We'll see how those do. Interesting. Oh, it's all interesting. It's all so interesting. Okay. Caramel candy is really rich on this. A little bit of like that spice candy note on it. Okay, kind of like a creamsicle note on it as well that I was kind of getting out of 8. I'm kind of getting that on 7 as well right now. Okay, that's really good. Let's take a sip. Okay, it's good. Do I like that more than glass number 5? It's very close, actually. There's more orange on glass number 7. There's a very rich orange, almost like an orange rind on it. For that reason, I'm going to rate it the same. I'm going to say it's an 8.4, but I actually do like glass number 5 slightly more. That orange rind note, very strong on glass number 7. It's still really, really good. I mean, these are both awesome whiskeys. I'm wondering which one the Generations is. I can't tell what the Generations is. I've only had Generations once, so I don't know. I think I've had a few of these whiskeys a little bit more experience, but I'm expecting a lower proof that kind of tastes like Generations, and I don't know. It's hard to tell. But I think 5 and 7 here, probably towards my bottom 2. Let's go back to glass number 8 here. Let's give that a rating as well, and then let's move back to kind of the earlier ones. Okay. Pretty similar to glass number 7, actually really similar to glass number 7. Yeah, it's orange candy note on it. There isn't really any of that gingerbread, unfortunately. I was really liking that gingerbread off of glass number 5. Okay, let's take a sip. Oh, but it's just better than those other two. Oh, yeah. It's a good bit better. So I rated these at 8.4. I'm going to rate this at 8.6 for glass number 8 here. That's really, really nice. I mean, it's a similar flavor profile. You have that kind of spice candy on it. You have that citrus on that. You have a little bit of that rich oakiness, vanilla on it. It just works really well. Like that is a creamsicle pop if I've ever had one. And I actually don't know if I've ever had one. Not sure. But it's that. It's that kind of flavor, like vanilla, orange, that kind of stuff. Very, very good on it. Like that one a lot. That's an 8.6. Let's go back to glass number 1. So glass number 1 here. It's good. Really rich cherry. Really rich oak on this one. Oh, man. I don't even know if I want to take guesses. I really cannot tell you. Because I've obviously had the Buckner's 15 and obviously won the flight last time. And I just cannot tell you which one of these is that Buckner's 15. I mean, I'm just going to have to let the blind speak for itself. I don't know. Let's take a sip. Really rich. Really okay. I like it more than those other 3 for sure. Depending how much more I like it. I mean, this is at least an 8.7 to me. But it might lack on the complexity to do better than that. I think, I'm getting this really rich oak, this cherry on it. Maybe that's the BuffTurkey. Maybe that's the Buckner's 15. It's very similar to the Buckner's 15 that I had before. Now, I will say, obviously, the highest rated BuffTurkey I've ever given is an 8.5. I think we're clearly beating this today. This one, to me, is really good. I'm going to rate it an 8.7 for now. I might come back to that. I'm going to see what I think of glass number 6 first. But that is very, very good here. Okay. Interesting. Really, really, really rich oak. Super rich oak on this one. That number 6 is really good. Yeah, I mean, just tons of oakiness on it. Really, really rich kind of fruit on it. I don't know. If I had to guess, 1 and 6 are probably the George T Staggs, and so, I don't know. It's really, really good. Let's take a sip. It's good. It's good. Do I like it more than glass 1 and glass 8? I don't think so. I'm going to say it's an 8.5. But I think it's just marginally under. I think glass number 8 here, 8.6, 8.5, 8.5, 8.4, 8.4. But now for these 3 interesting ones. Okay, so let's go back to glass number 2. So this is one that I kind of think is the Russell's 15. Very wild turkey, dark fruit, all that good oak, all that good stuff. Let's take a sip. Rich oak, berries, vanilla, a little bit of that tobacco spice, the leather, the tobacco, the spice, all that good stuff. I mean, really, it's those notes. It's really those notes. 8.5. I think it's very good. I don't think I like it as much as glass number 1 or 8 for sure. I am, do I like it more than glass number, what is this, glass number 5, 6 here? Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm good with 8.5 here. I think glass number 1 is a little bit better. Yeah, it's just so good. It's so good. Yeah, okay, so I think thinking about this a little bit more. Okay, you know what? Let's go on to the next two, and then I don't know, I might change the rating slightly here, but I think this all makes sense. Let's go back to glass number 3. Glass number 3 here. This is just super, super interesting, but such a flash of hot oak on it. Oh man, but I'm getting those darker fruits on it. I'm getting a little bit of citrus on it. I'm getting really strong cherry. No, that's Buffalo Trace portfolio. I mean, that has to be a Buff Turkey or the George T Staggs, I think. Very surprised if this one was anything else. Let's take a sip. That's great. That's great. That's an 8.9. That's an 8.9. Yeah, that's an 8.9. Let's go back to glass number 4. So glass number 4, I think, is going to be my favorite of this flight. Super rich. I mean, it has hot oak in the front palate, but then, I don't know. It's just... Yeah. So hot oak in that front palate, but then that dark fruit, the stewed fruits, the blueberries and the plums and the... Oh, man. I'm going to rate them both an 8.9. I'm going to rate them, but I think glass number 4 wins. It's really close between 3 and 4. I think 1 is great. I think 8 is great. I think after that I go glass number 2. Then I think, oh man, 5, 6, 7. Let's revisit 5, 6, 7. That's interesting. That's really interesting. It's definitely lighter. It's rich. It's oaky. Man, that's so interesting. Like lemon on it as well. Man, that has to be a Buff Turkey. That's too weird to be one of these 3. That has to be a Buff Turkey. Man, I am so torn in this flight. I mean, this is tough. This is really, really tough. Oh man, I like 5 a lot. Do I want to change the rating? I'm gonna up it to an 8.5. No, 8.4, 8.5. Oh man, that's so tough. I'm debating. I'm very much debating. I don't think I like it as much as 3 and 4. I don't think I like it as much as 1 and 8. But do I like it as much as 2? Do I like it as much as 6 here? 6 is also really good. Man, this is tough. Let's see on the sip of 6. That's good. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Okay. I think 6 is better. I think 6 is going to be an 8.5. Okay, we're going to redo the ratings a little. I think 4 here is the winner. I think it's an 8.9. I think 3 is a very close second place at 8.9. It could even win. Just that dark fruit off of 4 is incredible. But it's just also really rich hot oak in a way that 3, I think, is more complex, more interesting. Might swap 3 and 4. Oh man, we don't do ties here at Cask and Point. It's a big rule that I have. I never want to do ties. Man. I'm going to rate them both an 8.9. I'm going to say the winner here today is going to be glass number 4. And I think it's super tight. But glass number 4 is the winner. Glass number 3 is in second place here at both an 8.9. Then I think I'm between 1 and 8. I think I'm going to go glass number 1. I think this is an 8.7. I think glass number 8 is an 8.6. I think then glass number 2 is an 8.5. I think glass number 6 here is an 8.5. I think glass number 5 here is also an 8.5. Then in last place here, 7, I'm going to rate that an 8.4. All right, let's find out what we're having. This has been fun. Let's see. So glass number 7 is in last place here. We'll grab all of our little note cards here. 8 different note cards talking about all the ones that they are. So let's see. It's number 7 here. Number 7. Yeah, that's 7. BRL 1.0. Okay, wow. So the news got last here. That's interesting. I don't know. On this time, I think I would have taken We Lucky Few as better on the news, but that one is really, really good as well. I mean, for $300-400, I think anything on this flight's awesome, but the BRL 1.0, it's really good. It's really good. It's just softer, more citrusy. I don't know. In this flight, it just didn't win. In glass number 5 here, where is glass number 5? Number 5. That looks like a 5. Cigar Blend. Oh, wow. So that is the weird funky finish. And I think on the first go around when I was getting that kind of gingerbread on it, and then I think I started getting that kind of lemon and strawberry on it towards the very end there. Yeah, that one is funky. It's very good. Obviously, definitely suffering from being a bit mellow. And so it's interesting. I thought either the Cigar Blend was probably 3 or probably number 5 here. Because those two were just by far the funkiest, which was interesting. Huh. Yeah, it's interesting. That is very, very interesting. It's very good. I think for the $300 that I think it's running, I think it's $339. 100% worth it. I'd buy 1, buy 2. I probably wouldn't go crazy on it, but very, very good here. An 8.5 is a very good rating here at Cask and Point. It's not a 9.7, but it's very, very good. Let's go on to glass number 6 here. So glass number 6 is going to be Elk 146. Wow. That did not drink 146 proof at all. Okay, wait. That's 3 BuffTurkeys. Did the OGs take the entire top 4? I think that's what's 15. So I don't think so. But wow, that leaves Buckner's 15? Wow. Okay, so that's number 6 here. In 4th place here, no, in 5th place here, we have glass number 2. Glass number 2. What is glass number 2? That is, okay, Russell's 15. I was right about that one. Yeah, I just drinks like that. Russell's 15. Very, very good here. Beating some of the top BuffTurkeys, but those BuffTurkeys held their own. It's very close, obviously. I mean, 6 got this exact same rating as it, and then I think, obviously, what glass, these two, glass 6 and glass 5 and glass 7, I think were very, very close. So, very, very good here. Yeah, Russell's 15. Okay. We're looking at 2 George T Staggs. We're looking at Generations, and then we're looking at the Buckner's 15 from the New Era Bourbon Club. Okay, so glass number 8 here is going to be Generations. Okay, totally get it. Yeah, 8.6. I think it's actually exactly what I rated on the first video. I do think it's better than Russell's 15. I think Generations is an awesome, awesome pour of whiskey here. That leaves 2 George T Staggs and the Buckner's 15. Okay, in, I believe, a rating of an 8.7, glass number 1 here, it's going to be George T Stagg 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, the Buckner's 15 is in the top 2. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. That is really, really good. Yeah, definitely more of a Buffalo Trace portfolio on that one. I think number 8 here, definitely more of the Wild Turkey profile. Yeah, I love Generations. I really love it. I like it more than Russell's 15. That's what I've said a few times already, and I can stand by that. It won again in the blind here. Ladies and gentlemen, in the top 2, we have George T Stagg 2022, one of my favorite George T Staggs in the last few years. And then we have good old the Buckner's 15. Glass number 3 here. In 2nd place is, it's the George T Stagg 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, the Buckner's 15 has won the flight. Oh my God. The Buckner's 15 from New Era Bourbon Club is the best BuffTurkey by far. I rated it an 8.5 the first time we went around, but I think this flight really showed me it competes with the best. It competes with the best. That bottle is amazing. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, so to conclude, I mean, we had 3 Buff Turkeys here in the bottom 3. And I wasn't too surprised for that. I thought these 3 would do really well. I thought the George T Stagg 2022 would probably win the flight. That Buckner's 15 is amazing. Wow, I am shocked. The Elkwood 146 is also amazing. Really, really good here. The Cigar Blend's really interesting. And you know what? I want to try a little bit more of that Cigar Blend. So the sample that I have from the Cigar Blend, there's like barely any left here. But you know what? Let's think about the Cigar Blend a little bit more. Yeah, citrus, lemon. It's really good. It's lighter than I think a lot of these other flavors. I just don't think it could hold up in the higher proof range, but I think if I drank it on its own, and I think I will do a review on that one on its own at some point. It's really good. I think 8.5 is pretty fair. Man, there's strawberry on it. There's lemon on it. There's really, really, really complex flavors. Like, it's just so different. For some reason, 3 and 5 here, really the ones that stood out to me. Yeah, that's nice. I stand by an 8.5. I think some days maybe it's slightly higher. I think it's citrusy and oaky primarily, but I think you really get the finish of that like Tokaji and all that other stuff, that sweetness that comes out in the late palate there. That's an awesome pour of whiskey. All right, so I think this video has lasted long enough. The Buckner's 15 from the New Era Bourbon Club is awesome. It's beaten everything here today, although the George T Stagg 2022 was really, really close. I think day to day, I might take the George T Stagg 2022 more, but I think I won in the blind, and then after that, we had the 4 classics, and then we had 3 Buff Turkeys here. Overall, the best Buff Turkeys out there are not that good. They're really good, but Russell's 15 is $550. It sits on shelves in Manhattan at $500. It is better than most Buff Turkeys, pretty much all Buff Turkeys. Bruce Russell knew what he was talking about when he said the reason why they sold all of the Buff Turkeys was because they just weren't Russell's 15 caliber. I think he knew what the hell he was talking about. That is awesome. I hope you all enjoyed the video. It was a long video, one of the longest videos I think I've ever posted here on the channel, but it was a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.